Bratz dolls, those snatched, big-lipped fashion freaks we are all in some way haunted by, had their first movie in 2004.
The Bratz are starring in their first feature-length movie.
A straight-to-VHS release called Bratz, The Video, Starrin Stylin. The dolls had been around for about 3 years at this point and were wildly popular, so naturally, they needed a video. The movie is a very typical piece of mid-2000s girls media. Like many Disney Channel original movies, it opens with a peppy, indie rock-style song. The Barbie cinematic universe at the time, having released a total of 3 iconic films, had a new enemy. But there is a strangeness to Bratz, The Video, Starrin Stylin. Let's take a look. We open on Chloe, the blonde one, driving her insane, beautiful classic car through a lush suburb. Immediately you'll notice the backgrounds, rendered in this striking, filtered photo style reminiscent of visual novels. It's kind of hideous, but I like it in contrast with the 2D animation. It lends a unique aesthetic to the movie, a weird, intrusive sense of realism on the periphery of our hyper-unreal Bratz girls, icons of ultra-femininity, meeting a crunchy, gloopy, warped real world. Chloe meets up with Yasmin, the one with the stylish mole on her face, collects Jade, the black-haired one, and finally slurps up Sasha, the final dark-haired girl. They ride to school, excited for their upcoming prom.
Prom night! Here we come!
And we meet their art teacher, Mr. Del Rio.
Van Gogh used paint and canvas. Mozart used music.
Gucci used fabric and scissors.
Yes.
Immediately, what I love most about this movie is what happens when it tries to translate adult men into the Bratz style, where Chloe and the gang have this intense, plumped-up, post-surgery look that the character animation must build on. This guy has an awkwardly empty face, rectangular and out of place without some large, juicy facial feature to focus on. The Bratz girls themselves don't have noses, or at least the suggestion of them is so slight that you almost never see it, but this guy needs his little nose shadow. The Bratz have such an over-the-top, rounded, glossy style that crafting a world around them becomes an exercise in madness, for the same reason that Tree Change Dolls, a series of repainted dolls by artist Sonia Singh, had a viral BuzzFeed moment in 2015 because of the especially striking differences in the before and afters when she made over Bratz dolls specifically. This movie is often at its most interesting when it has to contend with elements of its world that are at odds with Bratz design sensibilities. Del Rio gives them an assignment which has no real specifics.
Choose an artistic medium, any medium, and express yourself.
And Chloe, recognizing the aimless and unrestricted parameters of this task, says,
I express myself daily through my passion for fashion.
When you think of a typical Bratz doll, you might think of its meticulously crafted little outfit, the little details that make this doll line so appealing. Most of them have this effortlessly cool, gently cluttered, kind of maximalist outfit. The look is important.
Tell you to wear a streak or two, yeah, they'll all be so impressed.
But when you look at Chloe in this scene, she doesn't scream fashionable. She's wearing a plain pink t-shirt and some jeans. When we cut back to the other girls, we can see that they too are wearing essentially the same boring outfit, except for Jade, who has a cute little bow. Good for her. While this is just a simplification of design that makes the characters easier and cheaper to animate, it creates a bit of a narrative disconnect. If Chloe loves fashion so much, why isn't she fashionable? Are we not here to see outfits? Anyway, the teacher tells Chloe that she actually has to, do something.
Perhaps you should challenge yourself to find a new medium, Chloe.
But he happily allows the girls to submit the assignment as a group. But this is bad news because their prom is this weekend and they don't want to focus on anything else.
This is prom weekend, Mr. Del Rio.
They gripe about this in the hallway and encounter a disgusting smell.
What's that smell? It's the smell of disaster.
It's their friend Dylan's new body spray.
That's Dylan's new body spray.
One of my favorite things about Bratz in general is the way that the Bratz boys look.
Going clubbing with the boys.
While I enjoy the tempered human look of Old Man Del Rio, these yassified boys are just incredible to look at. You can get used to the Bratz and their caricaturesque faces, but wheel out the exact same features for a 14-year-old boy, and it starts to feel exhilarating. This scene serves as our introduction to the boys, and it's through stench that we enter the world of masculinity. Perhaps they are wearing something like Lynx Africa, the boy smell uniform that dominated my teen world. The girls take umbrage with this stink. It's their soft way of nodding to a preference for a girly aesthetic.
Studliest. With a smell so strong, any girl is sure to hurl.
Masculinity, through this rough and tough man perfume, is somewhat repulsive. These boys' big luscious lips and fluttering eyelashes, great. Their man scent, unforgivable. We can't have that. Jade wonders aloud how they might get out of doing this assignment so they can focus on prom planning.
There has to be a way to get out of this assignment.
Yasmin immediately comes up with an idea, but she's bashful about it and refuses to say what it is.
It's nothing. Never mind.
I love the glimpses of side profile we see in this movie. Look at Yasmin's little nose. Aw, little nose nub. After some protest, Yasmin comes out with it.
I was thinking we could make a video.
So now we enter the vlogging zone, and I love these cluttered backgrounds in the AV room where they go to borrow a camera from another friend, Killian Murphy. My favourite thing here though are the posters on the wall, and in particular this one featuring the school principal.
Mr. Melman's corner, the principal with principles?
He looks like some sort of human alternate universe version of Sebastian from The Little Mermaid, a white Sebastian the Crab Gijinka, and quite frankly he has an incredible mystique and allure. He is, I believe, the sexiest 49-year-old in the Bratz universe. I can't stop looking at him. By the way, I looked up Sebastian Crab Gijinka to see what was out there, and I found this incredible costume by Tabitha Soa that I really need you to see. This is amazing. Also, when the boys leave to go to their next class, Dylan says goodbye to Jade by grabbing her little cheeks hamster style, and she apparently loves that.
Later, Jada.
After they borrow their camera from Killian, the girls sit and inspect it at the cafeteria table, where they also peruse and mark the extremely dull school paper. They start filming their assignment project, which amounts to basically a series of About Me clips where each girl says a few lines of biographical information.
Hi, I'm Chloe, but you can call me Angel, because that's what I am.
It's not a very involved project, but Chloe does immediately struggle to come up with things to say about herself.
What else should I say? Oh yeah! I think there should be a bottled water machine in the cafeteria.
The girls film each other doing prom duties, and I really love how they all state their nicknames to camera.
I'm Sasha, but my friends call me Bunny Boo.
Okay, Bunny Boo. Yasmin's is my personal favorite though.
Pretty Princess is my nickname. My real name's Yasmin.
Each new girl's introduction feels so wonderfully empty. But don't worry, we're heading to the beach, where they relax and look at a big stack of magazines, and the fears they had about their assignment are all gone. But Chloe's worried about that prom.
We don't even have our prom outfits picked out yet.
Yasmin tells her not to worry, because honestly, everything always works out.
Don't worry, we'll pull it off. We always do.
I like the really relaxed tone the movie has because of this ceaseless positive attitude. You get the sense that nothing could really go wrong. No conflict can really touch this world. You're always the first one ready for everything, pretty princess.
You're always the first one ready for everything, pretty princess.
Jade spots an enticing prom outfit for herself in one of the magazines from the stack, this sort of Gwen Stefani Harajuku girl's pirate look. But on seeing this, their first example of a cool and interesting fashion choice, the girls reject it completely. They look at this picture, and they look at poor Jade, and they're like, there is something wrong with you.
I think your frontal fashion lobe's overheating.
The boys pass by briefly, and later the girls are enjoying a nice drive through the woods, the wind blowing in their hair, and Chloe crashes her car. Luckily everyone is okay, but the car is ruined, and some sad guitar music plays.
My car! It looks pretty bad.
They're standing around, surveying the damage and wondering where they are, and starting to feel a bit spooked as the sun goes down, when they come upon the animal Chloe swerved to avoid hitting. It's a hapless stinky skunk, which Jade can't resist, and it must naturally spray its filthy stink juice all over everyone. Cameron and Dylan arrive to help, and Cameron takes one look at the wrecked car and says, yeah, no worries. I can fix that.
This is no problem.
So everything works out beautifully. The primo tweed mechanic can zap this car back to perfect brand newness, the girls get a ride home, and the stench doesn't linger as it surely should, never destroying their prom by sheer unstoppable stink. You know, if I got stinked, I'd be very upset for a long time. You wouldn't hear anything else for 5 years, but these girls, they just move on. They continue to occupy a world of dull disaster always righting itself, and I think this rosy vision of the world is well communicated through the interstitial photo shoot moments that serve as palette cleansers for scene changes. Much of the memorable style of this movie comes from these sorts of details, the casual photo shoots that I guess are happening somewhere off screen in the distant glam background of their lives. These snippets reinforce that pervading sense of unchangeable okayness. We're skunked up to the max right now, but everything's fine forever. We have our glitzy portfolios. Back at school, the girls clump awkwardly through a posterized photo of an empty hallway and head to the mall, because after the week they've had, shop therapy is the only solution.
After the week we've had, shop therapy is the only solution.
But before they can pick out their prom dresses, they must come up against the crazy gossip in the school newspaper.
Has prom power player Sasha, that'd be you, lost her grip on the biggest event of the year?
What?
Sasha reacts to this with pure rage
I am not having a breakdown!
and wonders how the newspaper got this info.
Why are you staring at me?
Who else could have told them what we talked about?
I like the way Dylan grabs Cameron's arm here. Aw. The girls decide, based on pretty much nothing, to blame them.
I can't believe they did this.
And so begins a push and pull of misunderstanding. It's time now for a shopping montage as all the girls show off uninspiring prom dresses. There are glimpses in this movie of true Bratz doll looks, sophisticated, styled outfits that capture a certain cluttered 2000s aesthetic. But as I said earlier, the looks in this movie are mostly very plain. Here, they just emerge in slight, dull variations of generic flat-colored dresses. Until, that is, Jade emerges. Oh my. The high-collared boots, the tulip-shaped structured skirt, the unbuckled chunky belt, and the cuffed military/pirate jacket, the detail has arrived. This look calls to mind some of the military-infused fashion that was going on in K-pop in the early 2010s. Chinese Everybody in 2013 comes to mind, Tom Brown's Spring-Summer 2014 collection, and even vaguely some of Perfume's costumes, which play with a lot of signifiers of workwear in a very retro-futuristic direction. The other girls, though, are not having it. They're disgusted.
It's prom, not Halloween.
These girls have no taste, no intrigue, no style, no passion for fashion. What is going on? I'm sorry, I thought that was what the Bratz were all about, but they're presented with one single challenging look and they nope out? For shame. Jade doubts herself and begins to have a bit of a crisis about this.
Am I losing my fashion sense?
No, Jade, you're the only one with a fashion sense here. Listen to me, Jade, it's not you. It's everyone else. Yasmin, almost maliciously, takes this moment to shoot Jade's intro segment.
Hey Jade, let's go ahead and shoot your segment for the video now.
And you know what Jade says about herself? She says she loves to take style risks.
I love to take style risks and start new trends.
This, you would be forgiven for thinking, hints at Jade's talent for spotting a cool outfit, assures us that she'll be vindicated later. Her friends will surely realize that they were fools to dismiss her bold outfit, right? No, that doesn't happen. She just chooses a boring, very normal prom dress, and we can all let out a sigh of relief because, thank God, she didn't wear a big unbuckled belt. So this really is a canonical loss of taste for Jade, and I find that to be the #1 oddest choice in this movie. The Bratz are fashion girls, but they can't encourage any sort of outlandish taste, can't even be curious about the vision here.
You don't like it?
Don't think so.
It's weird, and it's tragic, and I don't even particularly like the outfit, but Jade is so sad.
I'm beginning to doubt my own sense of fashion for the first time ever.
Aw, everyone should be saying wear your weird thingy, but the sad truth is there's no solidarity in the sick Bratz world. After their day at the mall, they all head to Yasmin's for a slumber party and read the latest Daily Doings column, which this time is about Jade.
The usually trendy Jade was seen trying on outfits that hinted to those in the know that she had become seriously fashion impaired.
Jade begins weeping. Everyone realizes they were wrong to blame Cameron and Dylan because they weren't at the mall, so they couldn't have informed this time.
At least this means Cameron and Dill are off the hook.
And Cameron shows up at that very moment, covered in blue car juice. He starts explaining earnestly that he didn't have anything to do with yesterday's Daily Doings, and Chloe's like, yeah, we know that now, and apologizes.
I'm sorry I blamed you. Can you forgive me?
Sure.
I like the nice, easy way this is resolved. I've commented on how unserious the conflicts are across this movie, but since this beef is based on a misunderstanding, it's nice to have it just pleasantly moved on from, a non-issue that never really got started. I also like how earnestly bothered by the situation Cameron is at the beginning of this conversation. He just seems like a sweetie.
It's okay.
Cameron tells the gang that Chloe's car should be fixed for the prom, and they take one look at the car goop all over him and launch into a makeover. They have to do it. There's no choice. They have to do it.
We promise it won't hurt.
After this, the girls go to bed in absolute bliss, and a mysterious figure gets up to retrieve the camera in the middle of the night. The next day at school, everyone's reading the paper. Oh my god, there's a picture of Cameron in today's column, and he has some sort of face mask on. Extra, extra, boy gets spa treatment. Okay, can a little boy not indulge? Cameron is mad as hell. His friend Dylan partakes in some homophobic bullying.
Can you recommend a blush that'll bring out my eyes?
And Cameron retorts with a beautiful, haunting threat.
Keep it up, Dill, and I'll bring out your eyes.
Cam confronts the girls,
How did the paper get those pictures?
and they have no idea how the paper got his picture, but just as they didn't believe he had nothing to do with the Daily Doings column earlier, he doesn't believe them now.
You and your friends were the only ones there.
He even refuses to go to the prom.
I'm not going to the prom.
No, come back. Come back to the prom, Cameron. Cameron, come back to the prom. No. The girls sit and stew in the library together, realizing that one of them has to be the connection to all these devastating hit pieces, and they wonder aloud which girl is the culprit.
We had the camera.
Are you accusing somebody?
Jade, still believing herself to be suffering from some sort of fashion-focused mental illness, despairs.
I can't trust my friends. I can't trust my fashion sense. I can't trust anything anymore.
They needle Yasmin in particular, and she immediately confesses.
All right, it was me. I admit it.
She's not just leaking stuff to the Daily Doings column, she is the column.
I am the Daily Doings mystery writer.
So Chloe, Jade, and Sasha leave immediately. Yasmin wanders the streets, calls her friends, sends them desperate emails, and receives nothing but stony silence for her efforts. Later, the girls are having a sad, miserable spa day, feeling empty and incomplete without their fourth member.
And we're having a miserable time.
Because Yasmin's not with us.
And they decide, sweetly and extremely diplomatically, that they should try to fix things, asserting that maybe they inadvertently contributed to this situation themselves.
We're the ones who said we wanted the school paper to print juicier stories.
They all laugh at this, and at that moment Yasmin comes in and presents them with her final Daily Doings draft article. A big confession and apology.
Daily Doings. Done.
I'm not anonymous. I'm Yasmin.
The girls apologize for calling her column boring, and all is forgiven. They also have a cute moment right afterwards that feels like such a PSA beaming directly into the child viewer's brain, where Yasmin worries about Cameron's response to all this.
He's gonna hate me.
And Sasha assures her that it will be fine if she just apologizes.
He'll understand if you apologize and explain like you did with us.
So she does, and it is. Yay. So they all film outfit shots of their prom looks for their class vlog, and Yasmin's is easily the most stylish. Look at these embellishments. These are based on the outfits from the formal Funk line of Bratz dolls, and while they're much nicer looking on the dolls than their animated counterparts, Yasmin definitely has the most visually interesting and ostentatious gown here.
Everybody wants to be at Bratz prom 2003.
The floral design is the only really bold graphic element on any of these dresses, so it makes sense that it translates best into 2D, but comparing the dolls to the cartoon directly makes it kind of stunning how little detail or flavor they adapted. Even the racial variation of these characters is completely dulled for the movie. This is Sasha, and this is also Sasha. What happened? They all walk down the stairs in this slightly strange way, like they're possessed by prom ghosts, and Yasmin gives Jade a very pointed compliment.
You look especially hot, Jade.
Which is nice, but given that she's wearing a sourceless dull orange dress, it brings a dark and sinister energy to her little fashion freakout plot. I mean, say what you want about this outfit, perhaps it is ugly, but this is nothing. This is the epitome of nothing. In any case, they make it to prom after Cameron brings round Chloe's fixed car, receives a juicy embrace for his trouble, and Cillian Murphy is given the great honor of filming the video project's final scene.
We want you to film us dancing the night away.
Alright!
So everything's fine, they all dance joyfully, the party's super slammin',
The party's super slamming.
and the sexy no-neck principal comes out to announce the prom king and queen.
If I may have your attention, students.
Dylan is the king, it turns out, and Jade is the queen. And all because she's not wearing a disgusting buckle. Finally, Mr. Del Rio loves their vlog.
Loved it.
And gives them a big fat A+. All is well in the beautiful, serene Bratz world, as it should be. Bratz the video Starrin and Stylin is a lot more interested in enduring, forgiving friendship than it is in any Starrin or Stylin. The Bratz' ultimate goal is to remain a fun-loving foursome, to indulge in the sheer carefree pleasure of having an inseparable, intimate little friend group. And it does it well. There is an effective sense of fondness between these characters that feels real, a wonderful softness of spirit. But there's also an emptiness, a surface-level individuality that emerges in some cute and quirky ways, but that ultimately doesn't connect very strongly to many aspects of what made the Bratz dolls themselves so popular. Still, they are elusive, cool teens. Chloe has that incredible car transformed from complete destruction back to pristine retro perfection, and she has her best friend and beloved boy mechanic.
I really like that we're getting to know each other better.
They may utterly dismiss any suggestion of passion for fashion, but they remain aspirational figures in other ways. Not in looking cool, although they still have sweeping hair and precise eyeliner and twiggish Neon Genesis Evangelion legs. And you know, they're always saying stuff like this.
You're so way above this kind of thing.
So true.